The Haley Strategic Incog X holster is high quality and comfortable, but the buying, receiving, and overall experience with the holster hasn't been great.
We got crews coming.
First and foremost, keep in mind that this is only my experience and you might have a different experience with a different opinion. When the holster arrived at my door, I thought it was odd that it was in such a big box, and I think that's because it probably wasn't in its original shipment box. In law enforcement, we call that a clue. For really no reason at all, I was expecting some type of premium packaging, but the box felt kind of cheap in my opinion, which honestly, I could really care less about as long as the product is good. I feel like the box is actually supposed to have some type of plastic wrap on it, or at least plastic inside to actually hold the holster from falling out, and the box itself was slightly damaged. I find it hard to believe that this box sits on a shelf or in a warehouse and the only thing that is keeping the holster from falling out is a little magnet inside of the cardboard. The holster does feel nice, look nice, and is well made, but personally for me, the unenjoyable experience just continued. The bag containing the parts was slightly open and I'm certain I'm missing the raised clip, but I guess I can't be 100% certain because there is nothing to indicate what's included inside the box. The large shipment box, the damaged package, the package probably not securing the holster properly in the box, and presumably missing the clip to the holster tells me that this holster is likely one that was returned. This holster has what they are calling the PRD, or passive retention device. Unlike most concealed carry holsters where it is just tension holding the gun in place, there is a feature built in to secure the pistol which requires an extra step in the draw process, which honestly isn't a big deal. I'm not sure if you're just supposed to know that's how it works, because there's nothing anywhere in a video or the instructions that clearly states that's what you are supposed to do to draw your gun from your holster. I only found where it talks about the passive retention device, how it locks into place, and some arrows with a picture in the instructions. Again, maybe it's just supposed to be obvious, but for a good 10 minutes or so, I couldn't figure out how to get my gun out of the holster. When you holster your pistol, there is a notch inside that sits in between your ejection port and the barrel. In order to defeat that, you actually have to slightly turn the gun while it's in the holster. At first it was odd, but it very quickly became a non-issue in terms of muscle memory and remembering to defeat the retention. But I don't really see the point in a true retention system other than just tension itself on a concealment holster. You would think that if somebody was trying to take your pistol from you, which probably shouldn't happen because it's concealed, that they would be in front of you pulling the gun towards them, which would in turn defeat the retention. I've always been a figure it out as I go kind of guy, so I figured I wouldn't need the instructions, and I did need them. I really didn't want to read a paragraph to find information I was looking for because it just gets complicated when you're reading, then trying to refer to an image, then back to the paragraph, then looking at the image again. It just seems like some very straightforward images with very clear adjustment options would have been easier to understand and more helpful. I get it, it's a holster and it should be pretty self-explanatory, but I think that's kind of the point that I'm making here. When I tried to make an adjustment towards a deep conceal, I had to refer to the directions, which was pretty frustrating. For me to conceal really any firearm, I need to deep conceal, which is supposed to be a feature of the Incog X. I'd like to think I just have this all wrong, and maybe if I do, just let me know in the comments. But when I adjusted the clip to sit higher on the holster, in order for the holster and the pistol to sit lower, you can't draw without hitting your finger on the clip, which wouldn't be the biggest problem if you didn't have to slightly turn the pistol to defeat the retention. Sure, you can still get to your pistol in a high stress situation and you're not really going to care in that moment, but there's just no way that you could train with this holster in this configuration for a significant period of time without destroying your finger. I just don't understand why you wouldn't be able to adjust the clip if there's holes for you to do that. I know that was the intended function. The farthest I could adjust the clip was to the middle setting with the clip shifted all the way down. Even with the clip only shifted up from here, I still hit my finger on the clip while defeating the retention. Adjusting the clip to the top holes is absolutely out of the question. So the holster really isn't all that adjustable. For me, and I would think pretty much everyone else, we want to keep our gear as streamlined as possible. That means using the minimal amount of material required to achieve the objective. If you buy the holster specifically for the 43X, you're going to have about an inch of kydex that serves you absolutely no purpose. And the reason is because the holster is also meant to fit the Glock 48, which has a longer slide. I just feel like that was probably a production decision at the sacrifice of the consumer, or at least anyone who carries a 43X. Extra material for no specific reason just doesn't make sense. That means that in my situation, the holster is taking up unnecessary real estate, which I feel like we're starting to get away with the whole minimalist purpose of concealing. Having two separate holsters with two separate guns minimizes the excess material, and if you have a 43X with a comp, you could just buy the 48 holster instead. That's what I've done in the past with Safariland Level 2 holsters when I had a comp on my Glock 19. I just purchased the holster for the 17, which gave me the length I needed, and then I molded the end to accommodate the comp. After I got the holster set up where it would just simply work for me at all, I really began searching for answers. And then I realized that I couldn't find the why behind the manufacturing and design choices. All the videos I could find on the website or on YouTube were only what seemed like highlight reels of people using the holster. Whether it's training or gear, everything should start with the why. Maybe there is an explanation and maybe I'm missing something, but for now, I'm at a minimum confused and at most disappointed. If you appreciate the honesty in this review, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified.
118, so this is my family all over. I can't copy. I want family all over. We got crews coming.